the Ahri just feels like in the LPL it has become a centerpiece of Engage at least, but it's a lot of follow-up. It's that quick mobility that we need to see for Knight to join up with Tian. And I think we're seeing this pick really become what brings out the iteration of Knight we've seen in the past for top esports, right? And the carry potential we've seen from this guy. So it's so exciting that they put so much priority in it. They make sure to pick that one up, and we'll have to see how it unfolds executionally. But BLG, they quick lock in the VOlibear and the Aphelios.
Give me the Lee Sin. Give me the Lee Sin, Tian. I'm ready. This is where you bring it out. It's one of his highest win rate champions. It's something where he's able to do a lot on it, and something that can do pretty well, especially against things like the Aphelios, where you can look for some of these kicks and plays. But we'll have to see what the plan is. Jinx will be taken first as per usual, but I definitely think you need something that's going to be a strong early game duelist. Lee Sin can link into that. Looks like we might actually get the Hecarim though, which whenever Tian plays Hecarim, this is where the style of top esports changes. It's not so much about looking for those invades. It's now going to be about Tian and Knight linking up and trying to look for roams on those side lanes. But that's a quick lock into the Sylas here for FoFo.
That's pretty spicy there. A lot of mobile ultimates to be able to steal away on this one early on. It is terrifying, but I do like the point you make about the change in style for TES, about the change in focus at least, and more so going to the lanes, which, you know, we didn't see either of it really from Tian in the first game, so this will be a nice change at least to try and bring in a different iteration here for themselves. But that Sylas does make things a little bit more difficult when you're approaching that mid lane specifically. We do see BLG focusing on the supports again against Mark. It is the Tom Kench and the Leona band away. Same band for TES, at least in the first ban of phase 2. It will be the Tryndamere.
Yeah, it feels like with BLG's bans, they're setting up for Nautilus. You know, Tom Ken's just a real nuisance because, oh, okay, well, top esports, yeah, there you go, ban away the Nautilus. So maybe you're looking then at a Rakan here for Crisp or something along these lines. You're kind of dipping down into a lower bracket when it comes towards the supports. And yeah, the Rakan is kind of the premier engage tool still available, which I really think BLG need that secondary engage tool because they are going to be playing team fights. Top esports then, you're kind of looking going, well, what do we actually try and answer with here? Maybe an Alistair could be the play, but I think that's a little bit messy. Looks like it will just be the Lulu again. Lulu does really well in the lane phase against the Rakan because you can whimsy the Rakan as he goes for the engage. He gets stuck in the middle then, and you're able to try and take him down. But yeah, I mean, I think you already have enough engage on top esports, so the Lulu can work well.
All right, I like it. We'll see the second time's the charm for Mark himself, as Graves almost instantly locked in by top esports as their final pick.
I mean, I'm surprised we didn't see this last time. I kind of have started to prefer the Graves into the Jayce matchup. I think Graves can do a lot more there, and just with how well he can push. We saw Breathe getting MVP in that matchup in the last game. So basically, where we're saying, nope, I want to. This is my champion. I've only lost one game on it. Give me my pick. We have to see what Breed decides to run into it. It's going to be the Camille, so something that can definitely deal a ton of damage to it in the later portion of the game, but may need a little bit of help from WeiWei in these early stages to make sure that you're not getting those early roams off, because you're looking at, you know, mid priority for Knight. Now you got Tian on a jungler that can definitely dive towers. You've got to be so careful here as BLG.
That side laning is going to be pretty volatile, I feel like. Obviously, early focus will be king in that aspect, and who gets the lead, it will dictate a lot of that volatility, and especially as we get to the mid to late game, right, in that side lane pressure. But I feel like it's such an interesting draft, especially a big turnaround from TES, where it's no longer the victor for Knight. We're seeing that proactive mid laner who can't have their own say in a matchup that I feel like wasn't there for Knight last time around. And Tian obviously indexing on the lane focus, helping prop up Knight and the rest of his carries as well, going against BLG, who themselves changed up a lot this time as they have a lot more direct CC, Dagda.
But look, I want to come back to the Knight pick, right? Because we talked about there was 3 picks that I wanted to see from Knight. 3 picks that I thought were really crucial to top esports. It was Ryze, Vex, and Ahri. We've now got the Ahri coming through, and I think that this is going to set up really well for top esports. A ton of priority in the mid lane, which is going to buy space for Tian because he is in a bad matchup in the jungle. VOlibear should wreck him if they ever run into each other, but it gives a ton of roam opportunities for Knight. Not so much, I'll say, down towards the bot lane, maybe they could look for dives, but I think that's a little bit risky. I honestly think you just roam up towards Wayward, play through your solo lanes, put Breathe behind, and suddenly this Camille just becomes a non-factor when it comes towards both the side lane pressure that she can have and the pressure she can have in team fights.
I think the spotlight is on this top side of the map as game 2 between Top Esports and BLG kicks off now. They got a long best of 5 in front of us, but TES, Wayward, and Breathe having a little bit of fun in the early part here, just making sure they give each other a warm welcome before the bloodbath begins.
I gotta say, gentleman's agreement. I'm already feeling the itch to right-click Breathe if I'm Wayward.
Were so close
He's a
to
better man
attacking.
than I.
You could
He's
see
a better man
Wayward.
than I. But look, I agree. I think this is going to be a case of like the calm before the storm. Because we already kind of said you've got a ton of opportunity here for Top Esports to try and play through this strong early game. Tian opting towards the phase rush as well. You know he's going to be a speedy boy. And for Knight, it's about pushing and moving, getting out onto the map. Because FoFo will not be able to contest the push that Knight is able to achieve in this mid lane.
And something else to focus on here as we get further on in the game is that neutral objective focus. We saw BLG get almost 100% of neutral objectives, only losing out on one singular Rift Herald, which is TES's bread and butter in that second Rift Herald. But it's another big thing to keep an eye out here, and especially with the difference in focus between these two giraffes and getting the more skirmish-heavy VOlibear on for WeiWei itself. See if he still keeps that priority over the neutral objectives early on. We had an Elder Dragon at like 29 minutes last game. We'll see the early skirmishing on bottom lane, though, go in favor of TES as they do push Doggo and Crisp off of the weight.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried for WeiWei in this game. I don't feel like he's going to have any presence at neutrals. Like, you look at Boss, you've got double range and a longer range on Top Esports. They've got priority. You've got priority mid, as we already talked about. Wayward going to have priority top because he's able to push. You have 3 losing lanes here for BLG, and that's just going to give Top Esports their pick of the litter. They can roam down towards Dragon when they want. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tian like soloing out. More than likely that Rift Herald come the 8-minute mark as well. You're just kind of caught in a bad spot here as BLG, especially if Top Esports can look to play their style of game, which is, you know, move in, get that early vision control, deep in the jungle, spot out where WeiWei is going to be, and try and play off that to find picks in these side lanes.
What I find so interesting, though, is, I hate to reiterate on it, but this mid lane matchup, FoFo locking in the Sylas almost instantly there. Looking back at his regular season, he did not play the Sylas. And having this as a pick into Knight, into this Ahri, I've got to see the dark tech unfold here for BLG.
Yeah, I think you've just got a ton of opportunities here, but Knight going to avoid this gank already. As you can see, this is the problem with trying to play around the Ahri. It's really hard to gank her with the move speed on the W. Did get hit a little bit, but not by much. So, yeah, sorry, got hit a little bit in 12-4. So, you can see that it's still a nuisance to try and get on top of this Ahri. Now, Tian, we talked about him liking to gank more when he's on this Hecarim, and already putting some pressure down towards this bot side.
Yeah, we were talking about maybe mid lane, maybe top, but it is bot lane that Tian goes to first. Make sure that Doggo and Chris get put behind to some extent there. Chris not having his Renata this time. Tian wanting to make his old teammate pay. We got TP coming down, though, from BLG. It'll save the day. Doggo gets out by the skin of his teeth.
Hurts Breathe, though. He's now TP-less and losing out on a pretty substantial wave in this top side. Plus, going to give a ton of pressure here to Wayward, maybe even get a turret plate, but as WeiWei roams on up, not going to be the case. But now you know where WeiWei is, and you've got the opportunity for Ahri to now push in the mid. So you can see here that this is the problem with having 3 of these losing lanes. You never have the pressure to actually try and combat this, and it's just a nice job from Top Esports to draw out the TP from Breathe.
It is indeed. We did get the TP from FoFo also into the mid lane. Did get there to stop Knight's back for just a little bit longer, so we'll have a little bit of time to catch up in CS. But that's something I want to highlight on is we have seen small but incremental CS leads for TES across the board. That helps out because they do have all those winning lanes that you were talking about earlier. But I do feel that it also makes it a little bit harder for Tian to get involved to some extent.
It's just about setting up the lanes a little differently. I think level 6 is the big one for Top Esports, especially when you get access to that onslaught of shadows. Like Knight shoves mid, roams with Tian, and they can dive top, they can dive bot. Like, it becomes very easy, and especially if you're diving bot, one of the things that you are always worried about is like, oh, well, we're against Rakan, he's got that charm, it can make things really awkward. Lulu just whimsies him. Yep. And then you just target Rakan. You kill the Rakan and then you're fine. So there's definitely ways to play around the tools that BLG have. Hell, even if Mark wants to try and roam as well, that could potentially be the play. But I really think just Tian and Knight are going to be such a potent duo in this game.
They absolutely are. We already saw a little bit of roam there from Knight, just get some vision. It was quickly cleared out by BLG as WeiWei and FoFo went down that way itself. Dragon, the idea here for BLG, but Tian clearing out some vision will be spotted there. Not going to go for the Dragon itself as Doggo and Crisp, they saw he was there. They still stayed. They're going to be in some trouble now, but luckily the quick maneuvering from Crisp gets him on the other side of the Flame Chompers.
Yeah, I don't know where Mark's whimsy was. I don't know if he used it on JackeyLove to speed him up, but I really think using that on Crisp would have been the call there. Stops him from being able to get out, and then you can try and lock him up because you've already got the Chompers then set to deny him that dodge towards Doggo. But Tian now as well, losing out on the Dragon. So nice job from WeiWei, just kind of realizing, hey, look, this is one moment.
Oh, we got the little 1v1. FoFo did already steal away, but did not find the connection there onto the damage for Knight. But Tian has been around this bottom side this whole time. He doesn't have level 6 yet. Devastating charge through Crisp, though, gets him out of dodge.
Yeah, it does mean that Crisp now going to have to reset, so giving maybe a little bit more presence towards top esports. But again, Tian, I mean, not being able to get vision set up in River, despite the fact you have 3 winning lanes, means that WeiWei is able to steal away that Dragon. And just a nice job from WeiWei to realize, hang on a second, like, I've actually got the opportunity here, because this is one of the few times Doggo has push in bot, and as well, you're also getting the push in mid, just because FoFo had gone for the quicker reset. So actually just good timing from BLG to pick up the first objective.
Wayward gonna get out here, but hook shot, oh, breathe, misconnects it, but the Hextech ultimatum, first blood for BLG yet again.
And BLG are just styling on top esports. Even though you're talking about them not having much presence on the map, they're able to make it happen now. Top, trying to respond.
Here. Spirit Rush already activated. Charm will not connect. Doggo's still alive somehow. They're healing so much, they've got to die. They trade one back. Christmas still alive. The tower shots will not ring true. A decent amount of damage on the top esports, but it's a trade back.
The big one as well, both AD carries being the ones to die, so you're not able to get JackeyLove to take these turret plates and kind of snowball this lead. So at least on the bot side, Doggo still keeping that gold lead within touching distance. Top esports finally get some more plays happening, but BLG are doing a really good job of kind of keeping keeping tabs on BLG in this early stage.
Gotta keep those tabs on and ready to go on these teams. Wayward will spot out a backing WeiWei, stop him there. We'll get the replay of that unfortunate situation for Wayward. Tries his darndest to get out of there.
Yeah, nearly did as well. Breathe, flashes thinking he can get the connection, but doesn't judge where Wayward's going, and just a bit unfortunate that he couldn't actually get that connection. But for top esports, they then start to move down towards this bottom side. And you can see it's all a bit messy. JackeyLove ends up tanking up the tower, whereas you really want Tian or Knight to be the one who can do it because it's easier for them to reset the pressure. But either way, top now, moving back up towards this top side, they will get the Rift Herald. And that at least is some consolation prize for what has been a pretty slow early game from top esports again.
Yeah, actually getting the first Rift Herald this time, having a little bit of that proactivity. Yes, it was a chaotic bot lane dive, but they still got something, right? We're seeing Knight get out of lane, which is not what we saw in game 1. We absolutely needed to see this time around. Does have a pretty heavy CS lead with the amount of movement he's had as well, which is actually impressive, and that's why we wanted to see Knight on a pick like this, and specifically the Ahri. I was so happy, you were so happy to see this as the first pick for TES. The draft ended up that way. It all looked beautiful, and it's coming to fruition at least to this point. That mobility, that cohesion between him and Tian. There's a lot of execution still needed. And speaking of execution, Tian is on the top side of the map, looking to put down Breathe a little bit more, but will not and has to back after it.
Yeah, I was looking at Knight to see if he was going to roam up. I might actually get some presence in this mid lane once more towards FoFo. We said this guy has wanted to step up as a carry, has been calling for more resources than he has in the regular split, and BLG are responding again.
It's all about the mid lane. This is what we wanted in game number 1. This is what we were setting up for so much. It's just all the bodies around this mid lane boxing match between Knight and FoFo. Nothing coming to fruition with it just yet, but we do have another dragon coming up on the board. 45 seconds here at BLG, already around this area with the rest of TES coming this way as well. Vision game, so important at this point.
Yeah, Riftchild is important as well. Tian already having that, feels like he's just going to plonk it down in mid. Looks like he's going there to do so and getting priority in this mid lane, trying to see if they can get some damage on towards his turret and then fall back into river. Doggo does have push on bot though, which means Chris
Spirit Rush. They don't have the connection there. There's the abscond of Ducks, but they don't have the damage just yet. Mark's gonna arrive first. Wild Growth comes through. Crisp is trying to do something. Mega Death Rocket doesn't connect. The Charm does on a WeiWei. Nobody has died just yet. Stormbringer comes out from BLG's WeiWei. They still lose a lot of pressure in the mid lane, and this could be Dragon, but they survive, and that's the big takeaway.
BLG were the chickens running out of the coop, and Top Esports didn't know which way they were supposed to run. They all scattered to the winds, and you can see Tian thinking about going for FoFo, Knight's calling to go into WeiWei. No one actually commits to one target, and it means that BLG are able to scatter to the four corners of the earth. Top Esports, though, will go back, will get the dragon for themselves. At least that is a consolation prize as well, alongside the turret plates in mid, as Crisp needs to be careful, but will back away. And at the moment, Top Esports opening up about a 2k gold lead off of the fact they've been able to find some of these plays.
And I'm just going to say it for posterity's sake, it is night and day for TES this time around, trying to find that aggression that we loved to see from TES. They now have that aggression. We'll see if WeiWei and Breathe can make it happen on a Wayward, though, as they set up the dive here. Stormbringer not available, crucially, for WeiWei, which means this dive gets all that more complicated.
Yeah, also you need to be very careful as WeiWei, because you do have the resets coming through for Top Esports. You can see there he's backing away. With the camps coming up on top side, Tian will be going back up towards this top half of the map, and WeiWei's just like, look, we don't have the time, we don't have the presence, we're going to take it back. Wayward even resetting there to pick up his Immortal Shield bow, so that dive is good and gone. For top though, this is where I want to see them start to enact their regular game plan, right? Start to creep that vision control into the bottom half of the map for BLG. JackeyLove resetting, though, means that maybe they won't have the numbers advantage that they need to try and go for this blue, and this might be an overextension.
Knight has Spirit Rush available, so he can get out with a lot of mobility there, as Tian and Mark are taking the blue buff. You got 4 members of BLG heading down this way, but they can't catch anybody out. They don't have the tools just yet, and it will be a successful invade from Top Esports.
This is the classic Top Esports, though. This is what we talk about when we say they like to get vision in the enemy jungle. Pick, though.
They're just going straight onto WeiWei here. Knight goes in as well. The Everfrost will not connect this time around. But FoFo goes right back in with the Onslaught of Shadows. Right back to the face is Tian with his own. And Knight gets the kill into FoFo. There's the Mega Death Rocket across the bow here as well. Crisp goes down to JackeyLove. And there's the carry potential for TES.
And there's Top Esports. We've been asking all series where Top Esports are, not showing up in game 1, but now Top Esports starting to get settled in this series, picking up these early skirmishes, getting that vision that they wanted, and Wayward, let's see what he can do.
He's trying to take the 1v1 here, but Breathe has the upper hand at this point, and the health bar at this point. The Shilpo is popped. Breathe needs to connect one more, doesn't get the damage, and nice little Teemo thumbs up.
Yeah, Fleet Footwork helping out there, just healing him up just enough to keep Wayward on his feet. Top Esports, though, as long as that matchup is still just going with both them backing away, they're pretty happy, because this is just a nice pick from top. Tian realizing, look, there's a bit overextension here from BLG in the river. You got JackeyLove who's able to roam up because Doggo was still in the base, and Top Esports just outnumber BLG in the mid lane.
It's crazy to me, like, that series of events just seems so chaotic, but TES seemed actually in control of it at the end there, and the whole time it seemed, right? That Onslaught of Shadows from FoFo was just forced out.
This is how Top Esports play. Like, this is how they snowball these leads that they get. It's, you know, getting vision control. They spotted out Doggo walking back towards bot, so they're like, right, we can outman you. We can outnumber you at this fight. And it's about taking these early skirmishes, finding that way to just completely outpace BLG. And now you're starting to see it come to fruition. So not only did they get these wins, you've got Knight, who's about to take the mid lane turret. You've got a good amount of damage onto the bot lane turret. And now, at 15 minutes, second Rift Tower's up. Top Esports can look to try and make a play at that as well, although looks like Tian may just move across the side of it.
Yeah, just looks like early priority there from Tian will make that so. But it's still a lot of the, that, as you said, kind of what we wanted to see from TES is Knight looking for the solo kill onto FoFo. Can't get it just yet. One more auto, the burn, and Knight gets the solo bolo.
Oh, he's going for more. Charm will land onto WeiWei.
This is what I'm talking about, the fluidity for TES is so crucial. Mark is just constantly with Tian at this point, and you need this for top esports because JackeyLove is going to be back in that mid lane. You'll have the split pushing going, but Mark and Tian are what makes the engine run right now for TES in terms of getting fights going and getting the skirmishing going.
Hey, I mean, this one's on Knight. You're winning the top side of the map because you're getting Rift held, and Knight predicts FoFo's movement with that Everfrost, picks him up with the charm and even the flash out of the finish. Could have gone for the Spirit Rush, but realized, look, that's going to be putting me directly into WeiWei. That's not a fight I really want to take straight up, so backs up away, sets up beautifully, and now BLG trying to make it round 2 in the bot side, but top esports are collapsing.
Tian gets spotted out. Stormbringer will go through here. A lot of damage on Tian, but he's not dead. Onslaught of Shadows right back. But they can't get anybody down on either side. WeiWei pretty tanky here. Sky Splitter comes down. FoFo not a lot of help, but he needs to use that Kingslayer. Tian with the devastating charge. Knight misses the charm. They don't have the damage though. FoFo finally gets the kill at the Tian. Knight kills Crisp. Mega Death Rocket comes in to take out FoFo, and it's all TES, baby.
They were biding their time. Knight's Spirit Rush was ticking down until there was back off cooldown. You see, the second that is, JackeyLove with his pressure made is able to join in on this bot lane play, and top esports turn it around. 4 kills now for Knight. This is why Ahri is crucial for Knight.
No more Victor. Get it out of there. I don't want to see that anymore. FoFo's looking like this. Or rather, Knight's looking like this against FoFo, and we can see a replay of that one. It is chaotic. It is neck and neck. But that is why top esports are the team that they are. The mechanical execution in these moments is so key.
Yeah, it's the mid laner that they told you not to worry about when he's on Victor, but when he comes on towards the Ahri, it's a different story. You can see ticking along there, just making sure that he could get that Spirit Rush, and when he does, it pops online, and this is why Knight has been so crucial for top esports. This is why he's been the MVP performer on top esports, and a guy that honestly a lot of the time is in our MVP conversations because he's just so damn good. 10 stacks on the Magi's. Classic Knight. Always picking up the Magi's. But it's so good to see him firing all cylinders again and stepping up once more to be that carry for top.
Knight up here, though, to try and be the knight in shining armor for Wayward. Big Everfrost, though, and it's coming up. Aces now. Knight is taking them all down. WeiWei gets away. He flashes over the wall, but Knight's got the Spirit Rush to follow him quickly. Will not go into the enemy jungle there to face a big, scary bear. But Knight will not save Wayward. Picks up some more kills for himself. Now 16 stacks on that book. He's just picking up papers.
Yeah, and this has been something Knight has done a lot. That wasn't actually a play, I feel like, to try and stop BLG. An awful lot of the times, Knight will actually just link up with Wayward, especially when they had this Rift Herald, and try and make this pick in the side lane. I think it just happened that BLG were trying to make a play at the same time, and Knight catches them out wonderfully. So you get that top lane tower. They should maybe... No, it won't get the charge onto the second turret. Just with the smite coming through from WeiWei. But now you've got full vision established for top esports in this jungle, looking at that Baron that's about to spawn in 50 seconds.
This is exactly what top esports are known for. Bread and butter is going in, aggressing when they have the advantage, keeping you on your toes, and this is all going up for TES. They're TP on the top side as well. There's nothing that Crisp and Doggo can do. FoFo trying to get away with the Spirit Rushes, but he gets obliterated himself. And this is a snowball from hell, and it's all TES.
That's tier 2 down, and I mean, you've got the Baron that's about to spawn in 20 seconds, but with BLG having those resets coming through, top esports will look to just keep these waves pushed in, maybe even look for this top inhibitor turret as well.
Got JackeyLove, who can't get excited after taking the tower itself, but needs to be a little bit careful as the respawn's coming in for BLG. They just get the tower back away. But a little bit of point that got maybe cut short because the engaging is the fact that, you know, when TES are ahead, when we see them in this kind of state where they are taking control of the early game, they're using that to press them to the mid game, it is a signature for them to stay in the enemy jungle, keep the pressure on, never let the enemy team rest for a moment. And we're starting to see that confidence be rebuilt for TES.
Yeah, and this is exactly, as you said, how top esports want to play. Get the vision, look for isolated members, look for picks and skirmishes. They don't want to set up for big 5v5s at Baron. They want to try and fight you before you get there, so you're not able to try and play into BLG style, which is looking for these front-to-back fights. Top esports want to separate the fights and look to outplay you with, you know, mechanically strong players like Knight and JackeyLove.
And Wayward also himself has been taking so much pressure this game, and unfortunately he will fall to a 2v1, almost gets breathed back because of it, but this unlocks the rest of TES to push in the mid lane, and Wayward is just a little bit of bait for BLG as they know where to focus otherwise, and Knight wants to capitalize, gets the Spirit Rush, misses the charm, but stops FoFo's back, and it's just going to be a slow and steady death for the BLG mid laner. Kingslayer comes away. He's going to survive for a little bit longer, but Knight gets another solo bolo.
Now you got 4 members of BLG, though, with only 3 of top esports, so you need to be careful. Top esports nearly get doggo, but will back away. Dragon in a minute and a half, and breathe.
That's the hook shot out
You'll
there.
need to get out of there.
Yeah, that was a little bit scary. They already have the bottom lane pushing as well. Looks like Knight's going to go ahead and reset here for himself, and the rest of TES taking the time to do so as well. As I thought maybe they take the opportunity to push this bottom side tier 2, but it is just the resets. Get back onto the map, get this vision game going so they can keep the oppression up.
Yeah, you can see how oppressive it is. Like, even as they're exiting there, you've got wards littered all over bot side. BLG have just cleared out the wards that were scattered all throughout their top side jungle, but they're barely getting vision into river, which makes it very easy for top esports to clear that out, and then brute force their way into the top side jungle once more. Knight even roaming down, trying to play outside of vision. May link up with Wayward here as Breathe is overextended just a smidge here, and top esports might want to punish him.
Doesn't look like anybody else is moving down for the get-go here, but will be Breathe surviving for a little bit longer. They are pinging down towards that tier 2, keeping Wayward pushing that one, but it's mid lane. They'll look to capitalize on as the rest of BLG is on the top side of the map. They're just now starting the backs. The wave is not in favor here for them. As FoFo taking the top side outer tower, they just lose another inhib tower and potentially the inhib.
Yeah, they are basically saying, look, this mid inhib was going to go regardless. We're trying to set vision control up and potential flank TP wards for FoFo. FoFo actually just going to keep going for the tier 2, but top, they're just going to continue to trade this, and they will go towards Dragon. BLG basically sacking their a lot of their structures so they can try and fight at Baron. It looks like this is all that BLG are trying to just go for this desperate
They're
Baron
just going to push this. I mean, they don't even care about the Dragon. They just want another inhib tower. This would be all inhib towers taken down, and a second inhib going over to TES. Now we get the back coming out from FoFo to rejoin the team, but they might just have double super minions spawning for their base.
Yeah, and then you've still got, like, Baron that's now going to be a major issue with 2 inhibitors down, potentially a third. BLG now trying to see if they can fight.
All right, FoFo grabs the Onslaught of Shadows. Chris, he's going in. Big Onslaught of Shadows from FoFo. They've taken down JackeyLove. They've taken down the carries. Knight goes golden. Doggo, Moonlight Vigil, on to Knight. He dies. And TES are routed with the overextension that has come to bite them in the past.
They all group up, and Chris, he sees the angle, he sees his moment, and sets up perfectly for the follow-up with the Onslaught of Shadows from FoFo and now top esports. Wayward trying to see if he can put pressure on this top side, but BLG, they will look at the Baron. They need to stop Wayward from taking that top inhibitor though, because 3 inhibitors down, you ain't going anywhere with that Baron.
FoFo, you gotta get in there. It looks like they're just gonna leave it. At least they didn't want to lose their Nexus towers here, but it's gonna be a 2v1 if Tian wants to come up this way. Baron finally taken down by BLG. They will go on to Wayward and get the kill himself. Oh my goodness. What a turnaround for BLG.
The Dragons should still go the way of top esports. They have come back onto the map and you can see them moving over there. But for BLG, yes, it is super nice that they got the Baron. It is some much needed gold and shutdown over to BLG. And it has evened up the gold substantially. But I don't know if they're going to be able to get out of their base. I mean, 2 inhibitors down, super creeps coming in. It's going to make it pretty hard for them to get value out of this Baron. But you can see there like a 3,000 gold swing just off this play. Crisp. This was gorgeous. Catching both JackeyLove and Mark. And with the follow-up from FoFo, it's just so easy for them to pick off top esports.
And that's something in the draft that I really wanted to focus on that I never actually spoke about, was the fact that Breathe can lock down Knight if they have him caught out. And right, the rest of the team kind of gets obliterated. Knight's full health, but if you get locked down by the Hextech Ultimatum, you know all the bullets are coming your way. And even through the stopwatch, even through everything, Knight still goes down. And that's where, you know, if you root out the main carries of top esports, it gets a lot harder. If you take out Knight, if you take out JackeyLove. But now that Zanya's has been completed, now that we're on 3 items for JackeyLove, that is a tall, tall task.
You can see as well, if you're gonna like corral yourself into the base of BLG, it becomes a lot easier for them to try and set up for those fights. Like I think the biggest error there was the positioning of top esports. They got greedy trying to go for that 3rd inhibitor, and now it may actually cause them some issues. BLG have gotten their side waves in control. They're starting to shove in. Won't be able to get the full way towards the base or towards the tier 2 towers of top esports, but I mean, you can see there for Breathe, he'll happily take this bot tier 1.
Much, just a little side note here, much different story for the Graves in this second game, by the way. Last game, it was all about the lethality, 3rd item, Serpent's Fang, everything lethality for Breathe. This time for Wayward, it's much more the sustained build. It's much more I mean, obviously it's much more the shield bow, but as well as the Lord Doms, the Mortal Reminder. A lot of utility in that build, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing teamfight here with this Graves. If you're in a side against Breathe, you're just dead. Like, you just don't get to play the game as Wayward. So kind of building more for that teamfight, more to try and provide the extra DPS and that more frontline oriented build for Wayward. The issue that you're seeing though is like, okay, BLG now, because of that Baron and because they've actually dealt relatively well with these super creeps, are starting to get the tempo advantage on the map. Like, mid inhibitor, as you can see, is starting to come back in their favor, and that's going to spawn in just a few, just in a minute's time. You've got like bot lane that's only 2 minutes away as well. Like, top esports haven't really been able to do very much, and all of these inhibitors will have nicely respawned right before that dragon comes online. So as long as BLG can keep their waves in check, they can contest this next dragon and potentially find good flanks for Breathe, get these the same kind of play where they dive onto JackeyLove and get him out of the equation before the fight even kicks off.
It is terrifying though. BLG are on a literal cliff right now. If they lose one member, if they get into one unmanned fight for themselves, they literally lose the game. I mean, all they have left are inhibs and their Nexus towers. And so like you have to be so careful when you approach these kinds of situations for BLG, because you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You see the possibilities there if TES overextend, but knowing that one mistake, one mess up can end this game is a terrifying proposition.
BLG are playing this so well though. Like, look at the vision they've managed to establish already with pink wards on this bottom side. You've double TPs on Breathe and FoFo, potential for a flank. Crisp, as you can already see, is trying to sneak into this bot side so we can find these flank opportunities and set up that big engage. And they've been consistently pushing top esports towards that top side of the map where there actually isn't any sort of objective for them to really worry about. So BLG have already set themselves up for Dragon. The big problem though is how much resources do you commit to Dragon? Because at any point in time, top esports can go, well, screw you. You take the Dragon. We're going to go for these inhibs. We're going to take mid. We're going to take top. And we're going to put pressure on your base once more.
It's going to be a very tough decision for BLG. 3rd item now completed for Breathe. It's all about execution. Doesn't matter the state of the game. Doesn't matter what's happened until this point. One fight can change everything here for BLG. We've already seen it one time around. They've gotten back into the game, back into the gold lead. Now they're moving in through mid lane. They are the ones being aggressive as Onslaught of Shadows is stolen by FoFo. That is a huge key to the puzzle for BLG if they want to get this fight.
No vision for top esports. Keep your eyes on Chris. Can he find the position? Looking for the flanks from both FoFo and Breed. You have to be so careful as top esports trying to aggress in here because there's so many different angles of attack that BLG can come from. 5 seconds until Dragon. I think you got to give this as top esports.
I don't know if they want to, though. They got Tian
I mean,
over
it's
the
top
wall.
esports.
It's top esports. You know what you're getting when you're coming into this situation. FoFo on the flank there. Breathe on the flank. They've got the pincer potential here for BLG. The Dragon already going down. Here comes FoFo over the wall. Here comes Chris. They got Doggo in there as well. A double kill for the ADC and BLG. And top esports are routed. Knight literally standing there watching his team obliterated in front of him.
FoFo says, let's go. Gets directly into the back line once again. Immaculate engage from the BLG mid laner. And BLG rout top esports. They get themselves the Baron. And top esports once more are put in their place.
This is playoffs. This is the LPL. And this is what we thrive on. The gold lead in hand for BLG and the fights consecutively going their way.
And we talked about the lack of vision, the lack of control for top esports, and FoFo plays around it beautifully. Hiding in fog of war, gets the engage onto JackeyLove, and JackeyLove hasn't had a chance to take a fight this entire time. Even with this Kraken Slayer build, that mobility isn't there to try and keep him safe. Mark can't do anything either. And BLG have been fighting this so incredibly well, and it feels like when we've been asking all year, where's the super team? Have BLG done it? Can they find the formula to make it work? It finally feels with BLG playing around FoFo that they have found that formula.
And Chris has been insane. The engages to follow up, to set off those onslaught of shadows. I feel so bad for Knight. He literally had to stand there and watch his team get taken out in front of him. And that is not what we've seen in this game so far. Knight has been the proactive one. He is 7, 1, and 8 for God's sakes. He's got 19 stacks on his match eyes, but he just can't do it. Like in these fights, BLG is so calm, cool, and collected. It is insanity. And we talked about battening down the hatches. Well, they're battened.
And the problem for Knight is that, like, he's an Ahri. Ahri doesn't have that big team fight DPS like you see with so many other mid laners. And even the build that he has is hyper focused on pick potential, that single target DPS. Knight just can't carry these fights. When FoFo has the onslaught of shadows to play with, when he's got so many tools that he can help set up BLG for these fights, the mid lane battle just swings in favor of FoFo regardless of that gold. And especially with the Rabadon's death cap now completed for FoFo, he's only going to hurt that much more.
He absolutely is. The big thing is, though, a pick will change things for TES if they can find Chris. Doggo caught out. But the big thing, as you were kind of mentioning, right, it's not the team fight potential from Knight that we're looking at. It's JackeyLove, who has to be the champion ADC that we know him to be, that he has been in the past, to bring this game to fruition for top esports. Like, it feels like we set it up beautifully. Like, Knight, you got them to the late game. Now it's all about JackeyLove.
And for top esports, as you say, like, this team has been built around JackeyLove, is built around Knight to set these two guys up as the carries. And Knight is doing his damnedest, but late game, we said at the start of the day, would fall to the AD carries. And Doggo has been putting on a masterclass throughout the day. And JackeyLove now,
they found him. They got Wayward. They don't get the... No, the F's gonna abduct. FoFo did not want to take that one, and now he's put himself in a terrible position. The pick goes to Knight, and all of a sudden, tables have turned.
And again, it's just that one mistake costing these teams. BLG try and go that step too far forward. FoFo now caught out. Top esports, though, you don't really have anywhere where you can try and put that pressure. You know Baron, no Dragon.
That was a nice overzealous Moonlight Vigil there, just trying to see what he could get with it. See if he could set something up there, but BLG need to back quickly because they are about to lose their inhibs.
Yeah, Top Esports just barreling down. All of these exposed, and you've still got no FoFo for 20 seconds. They will tear through these, and maybe, just maybe, Top Esports might look for the end.
This is insanity. Is this how it ends? Is this how BLG go down at game number 2? The first Nexus Tower is down. The re-engage is not there. The onslaught of shadows from Tian. Look at JackeyLove. He's untouched in the background, and nobody can do anything but Doggo's moving forward. It's the carry sake of BLG, but it's not carrying today, as TES will blow through FoFo here. No, FoFo, he's got the Spirit Brush. He can't do it. He dies, and Top Esports takes game number 2.
One mistake from FoFo and Top Esports pounce. They don't have enough in the tank to crawl it back, and that will be a 1-1 game going into game 3.
Woo-wee! That's the kind of playoff series I want to get started off with. 2 games back-to-back. Craziness. BLG almost taking the game, somehow coming back from a 6K deficit. And one mistake. The unfortunate connection of the abduct from FoFo seals the deal. And TES, that is how you finish a game.
And it's unfortunate. You look at the veterancy on BLG and you think, you know what, these guys, you're in playoffs, they're going to know to take it slow. Don't throw away these leads when you have them. But we saw it on both sides. FoFo was unfortunately trying to follow up on Breed's engage onto Wayward, but they don't have the damage to burst through Wayward, and they end up going that bit overextended. You look at what Top Esports did to allow BLG to get back in this game, though. Again, that veterancy, you think, hey, they're going to be able to understand, take it slow, don't push the envelope. But they try and go for that third inhibitor, and it cost them. It's been back and forth. Both teams not able to get themselves into a commanding lead. And welcome to LPL Gold Graphs, ladies and gentlemen.
If this is your first time ever watching the LPL, at least in the playoffs, this is tradition. This is normal. And I'd like to gather all the LPL Gold Graphs and make that a hiking journey. I feel like it'd be great because the amount of peaks and cliffs and just craziness that we get.
We'd all die.
Yeah,
We'd never make it.
I don't think we'd make it to the end, but it'd be a journey. It'd be a journey. And this one was a journey. You could just tell by the sheer stats on the screen, but that gold lead in specific.
Yeah, and look, you look at Top Esports and nobody ever thinks clean. At any point in time, you never look at Top Esports and go, yeah, they're methodical. They close out games easy. This was a Top Esports